everyone, welcome to Cycle 1 Week 1 Science videos. Today we have one experiment and it is baby bean, number 45 in your Van Cleves. At CC Livermore, we're going to run this as an individual student experiment, so each student will have a dry bean and a wet bean, or a soaked overnight bean, a plate. They'll each have all of the supplies needed. So let's talk about our supplies. We'll have a baggie of dry beans, so you'll pull out a dry bean for each student, which I have right here on my plate. We'll have some beans that have been soaked, and you can give each student a soaked bean. At our tutor meeting, we talked about it being possibly easier to see the insides of the bean if we had put some food coloring in there. So I'm testing that out today by soaking these in colored water. This is blue colored water. No matter what, I'll oh, you know what? I'm gonna be on vacation this week, so I won't be there. So you will actually possibly have colored water in with your beans, and maybe you can, Jen, since you're up first, have one of your moms go dump the colored water out and fill it with fresh water so we don't stand the risk of getting colored water everywhere. That would be really helpful. So, okay, on with the experiment. So each student will have a wet bean, a soaked bean, and a dry bean, and napkins, because we'll need them, and a magnifying glass. So first, have them inspect the dry bean. I'm going to look at it with a magnifying glass, feel how hard that it is. Try to identify the different parts. There's this white part that's there. It is called the, oh boy. We talked about how to pronounce these words in our tutor meeting. We might have to Google those. Micropyle. That's how I would pronounce it, I think. Micropyle. Small opening in which the pollen grain enters. You can have them inspect the outside of the bean and even identify the outside parts of the bean. Actually, I think this one's the hilum, where it was connected to the pod wall. Oh boy, look at me. I'm forgetting what we talked about just on Tuesday. So the white part is the hilum. There's a dot somewhere in there, which I can't quite spot. Maybe it's right there. Huh. That's the micropyle. And then, of course, the seed coat. And these are pinto beans, just as it says in your guide. No, I don't see that. I don't see that hole. But maybe some of your keen-eyed students will find it. So then we're going to have them inspect that and talk about how it's hard and we can't really eat it and it's not growing anything. It's just dormant. It's waiting for the right conditions under which to grow. And then we will have a soaked bean, which is very easy to open. Your students will just open that right up and they can pull off the seed coat and inspect that. And it's really rubbery, kind of firm and smooth. It's easy to tear, but it still feels strong. Even though you can tear it in certain ways, it still feels like a pretty strong coat for the seed to protect it. And then you can see the inside pieces of the beans. Let me see if I can bring that to you. Hopefully you guys have all seen one of these already. I know my tutors at CC Livermore, I know you guys have seen it, but this is just the regular inside of the bean. And then here you can see the other piece. I'm going to pull that off so you can see how it looks, where it has the baby leaf right there. Let's see, will that get into focus? No, but you can maybe see a little bit how there's the baby leaf and the stem in there. When you pull the bean apart, it's so obvious to see, and it looks exactly like what is in the picture, in the illustration on the Van Cleves book. So I really want to encourage you to use your Van Cleves book. It is a great resource. Take it with you into class. Keep your life simple. This week, while the experiment is really simple, it helps to set the stage for our purpose in the time of science. And our purpose is to take them through the scientific method. So what do you think we'll find when we open the bean? What do you think the purposes of those parts would be? So taking them through the steps of the scientific method, but really, most importantly, I think, improving their skills of observation. So how do we improve their skills of observation? I think three main areas come to my mind, and we want to model these for our parents. So our parents can start asking themselves and how to do this at home, and to model for their students and to implement it in the other areas of their homeschool. So one of the ways is to ask questions, because you have to observe and be thinking about something in order to have a question about it. I recommend you can even just write who, what, when, where, why, and how up on your whiteboard in the science room, and have the students be thinking of those kinds of questions. Now, remember, our purpose here isn't to make them dialectic. The purpose is to model for them a dialectic process. So we might not really get a lot of who, what, when, where, why questions from them. We might have to bring those to help get their wheels turning in the right direction, and that is okay. It is okay to model for them and encourage them so that they can then take it on themselves. And it might be half a year before they do that, or they might catch on right away. Depends on the age and maturity of the students in your class. The other element in improving our observation skills is using all of our different senses. A lot of times we think of observation as what do we observe with our eyes, but observing with our hands and our senses, wow, it's really smooth. I wonder why it's smooth. In week 2, there's going to be observing with our touch, but also maybe with our ears and hearing the vibrations. Observing with our sense of smell in week 4 or 5, week 5, or week 4, I can't remember, but with the egg experiment, which I'll be doing a video on shortly. So using the senses to really help them improve their sense of observation. And finally, sketching. Drawing and trying to imitate what they see causes them to look in a much different way. I also want to encourage you to have them use their oils. Most of the students on our campus have been through CC before, so even if you have science before you have art this first week, talking about oils will make sense to most of our students. So encourage them throughout the year to be using their oils here in science in their drawings, to be looking at each thing that they're trying to sketch in its most simplest components: straight lines, curved lines, dots, angle lines, circles. So that is my encouragement to you. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on Friday.